New Year is not just the start of a new calendar year, but for many, it is a chance to feel like they can use this new start to actually begin real change. Every year, people set New Year's resolutions where they kind of develop a goal to do something different in their life as they ring in the first day of the new year. These goals range from starting something new or cutting something out. Begin exercising, cutting out sweets, saving more money, paying off debt, and so many other goals. The problem is many of these don't last for most that set them. This year is going to be different. I want to show you 5 ways you can start your finances off right. This isn't a New Year resolution gimmick. This is true change in your financial future. Let this new year create a happy one where you are content and sort of feeling successful about yourself financially at the end of 2023. Let's jump in.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror. Where future success is reflected in our knowledge of fixing the one thing we can control, ourselves.
Thank you for joining me today on The Financial Mirror as we continue to improve the one thing you can control, yourself. If this is the first time you are joining in, well, congratulations. You found me on the first day of the year. This is going to be the best 365 days of your life to get you better at personal finance. This is the podcast. This is the stream for you. Now, if this is not your first time, thank you for coming back for another great year of The Financial Mirror. If you're on YouTube or Facebook or Meta or whatever they call themselves now, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe to the channel to get notified of all the new episodes as they release. If you are on a podcast platform of your choice, thank you for listening. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. Spotify and Apple provide you the option to leave a 5-star review. So go ahead and leave that 5-star review and a written comment on Apple Podcasts, as that is how the algorithm works to get this out to more and more listeners. And as you all know, the more financially competent people we have around us, the better off we all are, right? Most people's problems are financial. So if you're upset with your coworker, make them financially happy and you will not be so upset. They'll be much easier to work with. Just saying. But all in all, this is a new year. It is 2023 officially, right? So as of midnight last night, we have jumped into 2023, and this is going to be a great year. This is a opportunity for change, as I said in the intro. But the biggest thing about New Year's is that you kind of are in control of how it goes, right? So it's literally this new fresh start for you, and that's how a lot of people look at it. They look at it as the opportunity to have a fresh start. So for me, as an Alabama fan, yesterday we got to watch Alabama win and beat Kansas State. But for me, it's also a new year, right? Like I get to be like, okay, that football team is over. That season is over. Now I can look forward to the next Alabama football season. Or maybe we discuss the Denver Broncos that I'm now a fan of. And we're like, okay, now the Denver Broncos season is, well, practically over now that we fired the coach. And we get to move on to another season, right? So all these great New Year's things. I am an avid sports fan if you are now just joining. But this isn't where we talk sports by any means. This is where we talk finances. And that is what we're going to do today. I want to show you 5 ways. And these are not New Year's resolution based. This isn't like stuff where these are going to be 5 resolutions. Okay. This is one resolution. If you want to look at this as a financial New Year's resolution, go for it. But that's not really what the intent of this is. What I've noticed is that New Year's resolutions tend to not work. They tend to not last very long. What I want this to do is we could look at it 5 ways. We could look at it as like a checklist. We could look at it as like 5 things that you should probably do. But all in all, what this is really designed to do, what these 5 things are going to do is help put you on a path to a better financial year. That's what it's going to do. It's going to eliminate the financial stress that could come with this year, right? We don't know what to expect. We have no idea. We just came off of one of the worst market performances since like 2008, right? So we really don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what 2023 financially is going to hold. We don't know how it's going to look. We don't know if you thought your account was low this year, my goodness, friend, it could be lower at the end of this year. So we really don't know. We have no idea what's going to happen. But what this can do, what these 5 things are going to do is say, no matter what, no matter where, the market takes us, no matter where your job takes you, no matter where your life takes you, there's so many good things happening. We want to make sure that we are set up financially to be successful, regardless of factor X, variable Y, component Z. Like, we don't want to care about those things. When you are financially structured, you will, in a very deliberate way, financially structured, those different variables, those components, those exponents, those equations that come at you are much easier to tackle. They're much easier to navigate. And that's the part that I want to make sure that you understand. If we can get these 5 things done in your life, you will have a better financial year. That's just the way it is. Okay. So with all of this going on, with all of these things happening, I want you to be comfortable. I want you to be confident, and I want you to be ready for whatever 2023 brings. Financially, you will be ready when we knock out these 5 things. So let's jump into number 1. First off, right out of the gates, this is going to be the best 2023 ever. Okay. So Happy New Year. If you haven't heard it from anyone else, you've heard it from me now. Happy New Year. And I'm telling you, I want you to declare it now. This is the best financial year that you've had, besides the one next year, because next year is going to be better than this year. And that's just the way we work. Okay. So every year is going to be better, but this year is going to be better than last. So let's go to number 1. Number 1, revisit your budget. If you haven't done this yet, I'm challenging you. Revisit your budget. Now, I'm going to break this down to 2 parts. Part one of revisiting budget is, if you don't have one, let's get one started. So I'm not going to make an episode where we're ever going to talk about financial foundations, financial structure, financial anything without first talking about a budget. So what you have to do first is, if you don't have a budget, we got to get you one. You've got to get started somewhere. Mint is a great opportunity to utilize online budgeting. You can use spreadsheets. You can use Dave Ramsey has EveryDollar. You can use all these different, pen and paper, even, that stuff still exists, right? You can still write things down. But all in all, we've got to get you started on a budget. We've got to get you set up on some type of budget. That is the foundation of finances. So if you want to succeed, you got to have a budget. Now, I'm going to base this. Number 1 was revisit your budget. So what I really want to say here, besides if you don't have one, get one. If you have one, make sure it's effective, right? Make sure it's effective. This is your opportunity. This is the funnest part of the year for me. I'm telling you, I have the most fun at the end of the year doing this like cash flow analysis. I get to revisit and look at, where did I spend too much money? Right? Because now, once that's the greatest part about your first year of budgeting. If you never got that satisfaction, and I say satisfaction, but in all honesty, it's really a wake up call. But you spend all this money and you categorize, every single transaction, and that rolls into your budget for that month. But when we really look at it, it's the end of the year that we care about. We want to look at that end of the year cash flow analysis and say, wow, I spent 25% of my money on eating out. And then it's just like, boom, wake up call, right? Like, that's where real change happens. So if you don't have a budget, there's your good motivation to get one. If you do have one, make sure it's effective. Look at how much you're spending in certain categories and begin to navigate that so that you can set up something that works, something that's going to help you get to where you want to be. If you had all intentions of saving $10,000 or whatever this year, and you were only able to get $8,000, find $2,000 in that cash flow analysis that you could have cut. because those are probably some categories that you should focus on. If you're able to find that extra money that you could have saved this year, maybe that's a good place to start for next year. But revisit your budget, make sure it works, make sure where you're spending your money is where you want to spend your money, right? At the end of the year, we roll all this together, we look at it, and I'm like, wow, I spent way too much on Amazon. I spent way too much on subscriptions. Oh my goodness, subscriptions is something that is out of this world. I saw a commercial yesterday about subscriptions, and it was kind of funny, but it's kind of not funny. Forgot what the commercial was, so sorry whoever's commercial I'm talking about here, but it was a good commercial because it talked about how it was a automated subscription counselor app, whatever it was. And pretty much, it was like, how much you spend on subscriptions? He's like, $100 maybe. Like, he's like, questioning, right? Because we spend so much money in subscriptions, we lose track of how much they are. And no, I'm not a fan of automated subscription counselors. More than likely, they come with a fee. Don't know why you can't just look at your budget and see how much you're spending subscriptions and which ones you need to cut. Don't know why you need someone to automate that for you. But anyways, that shows you if there's a market to automate subscription canceling, we're out of control on subscriptions. So anyways, revisit your budget. If you haven't done it, revisit your budget and look for where you can improve. Make those improvements over the next year. Now, number 2, check your emergency fund. If you don't have one, once again, it's like a budget. Get one. Get it started today. If you currently have debt, your budget your emergency fund should be $1,000, and it should be in an easily accessible account. If you don't have debt, start looking at 3 to 6 months expenses to set aside. So that's not 3 to 6 months of income, right? I mean, you could, if that's how you want to base it. This is not some set in stone rule, but 3 to 6 months expenses. So if every month your required expenses add up to $3,000, then you should be looking for somewhere between 9 and, I lost my train of thought, but 18,000. So 9 and 18,000. So somewhere in there, right? Like, that's kind of what you want to do. You want to add that up. You want to figure that out. And then you want to start saving that and putting that aside, because this is like just in case money. This is like when stuff hits the fan, this is what you have. So if you lost your job, if you needed repairs on your car, if you had some type of unnecessary, like your AC goes out, right, at your home, some type of home repair, some type of medical expense, some type of massive emergency where you just need money instantly, you need money fast. Those type of expenses wreck people, and it takes them months to recover. That's what this emergency fund is for. So you don't have to set yourself back financially when something happens. So number 2 is check your emergency fund. Check it as if it's not there, if it's non-existent, get it started. But if it is there, make sure you have enough. So $1,000 if you're in debt, 3 to 6 months expenses once you're out of debt. Okay. That's where we want you at. That's where we want to get you, because that is what's going to help save you from financial stress this year. Get that in place. That's literally the foundation. If you can do those 2 things initially, you are on the right track. You are on your path to being successful financially this year. Okay. And think about it. This isn't in line with the 5 things, but I want you to think about this. When you have your finances under control, your brain has the ability to start to work on and fix and improve other parts of your life, right? Getting healthy from a sense of exercising and eating better and all those things, when you don't have to think about finances, that's like part of your day that you just get back, right? That you can focus on those other things. If you're constantly stressing about your finances, that's taking away the energy and the motivation to get after it exercise wise, to get after it eating better wise, to get after it in all these self-improvement, professional development, all these other parts of your life. When you can get the finances under control, all that gets better, right? All that gets better. We spend so much time thinking about finances that we kind of lose track of how much of a toll it's taken on our life. We really, really, really need to get that part under control. And when we do, wow, your life opens up. You get more time and more brain power to go these other things. It's funny because You think about like back in the day, Steve Jobs, if you ever saw a video of him, Steve Jobs, this is, you know, a little bit of a tangent, but Steve Jobs would wear that black turtleneck, right? And he said he would wear the black turtleneck because of the fact that it was one less decision he had to make. Like when he just got to walk in his closet and pick up a turtleneck, that opened up brain power. That opened up, you know, thought, you know, the brain matter to think about other important things, like being creative, making decisions about this company, this Apple thing that now is blown up to be, you know, a ginormous company, right? So when I don't have to think about these certain things, it allows me to think about other things, right? So when I don't have to think about finances, I can think about whatever else, right? When Steve Jobs didn't have to think about what he's going to wear that day, he just wears the black turtleneck. He can think about how to make Apple better, how to make better products, how to make like all these things, right? So I'm just saying that to say, and I go off on that tangent because budgeting and emergency funds are the two cornerstones, the two bases of your financial success. And if you'll just do those two things, just those two things, it will take so much stress out of your life financially. I promise you. Those two things, and it will take so much stress out of your life. So that moves us into 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, and 5 are a little different, but they're still very, very important. So number 3, we got to get debt under control. This year is your year. If you've been battling debt, 2023 is the year you can tackle it. You can tackle your debt. I have worked with many clients to help them get out of debt, and I can help you. I can help you get out of debt. I can put you on a plan to get you out of debt. Head over to thefinancialmirror.org, hit book now in the middle of the screen, book the free consultation. Let's talk about it. Let's see how you know your finances are currently structured. We'll just talk it through and see if a financial coach is right for you. But I'm telling you, if you are battling debt, you don't have to battle your debt alone. You can absolutely pull in a partner, tag me in. I'm ready to help. But head over to thefinancialmirror.org, hit book now, and let's talk about it. Let's focus your effort and get you out of debt this year. Get you out of debt. I tell my clients all the time, and I'm going to tell you for all the listeners that are listening to the stream, that listen to this on the podcast, if you are in debt, your net worth is less than zero, right? My goal is to get your net worth to zero. I want to make you worth nothing practically, right? Because right now, financially, you're worth less than nothing if you have debt. You're in the negatives. My goal is to get you back to worth nothing so that you can begin to improve your finances and be worth everything financially, right? That's my goal. And debt is absolutely a financial stressor. First and foremost, it ruins families, it ruins relationships, it ruins your emotional stability. It ruins so many parts of your life. And I want this year to be different. I want this year to be different for you. I want you to get your debt under control. Am I telling you that you would be debt free in 12 months? Absolutely not. Every single person's situation is different. Every single person's motivation to get out of debt is different, right? The effort it takes to get out of debt is a lot. People can burn through massive amounts of debt very fast when they have that little extra encouragement, that little motivation, that willingness to work a little harder to do it. But the first step is to get a plan. And that's what I want to help you with. I want to get you a financially structured, get out of debt plan. I call it a good plan, GOOD, get out of debt. And I want to help you build that. I want to get you on a plan to get you out of debt. So once again, head over to thefinancialmirror.org, hit book now, get the consultation first. It's free, 15 to 30 minutes of your time. Not going to waste your time at all. You know, nothing is required for you to purchase. Let's just talk about it. Let's see if a financial coach is right for you, and we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. But we've got to get you out of debt. We got to let this year be that year, right? We've got to get you to where you can start building that net worth, because like I said, this year is not as good as next year, and this year is going to be better than last. So let this year be the year that you get your debt under control. Number 4, we've got to set financial goals. If you've never set financial goals, let this year be different. Why do we do it? Why do we set financial goals? Well, easily said, if you're driving, right, you hop in the car You start driving, foot's on the gas, and you just go, but you don't know where you're going. How do you know when you get there? You don't. You have no idea where you're going, right? So your destination is non-existent. Like it literally doesn't exist. So finances are no different. You need to have short-term goals, right? Those short-term goals need to meet a long-term objective, right? That long-term goal is the end state, right? Like that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. That is a specified goal. That is very specific. Now, there's little things along the way that you need to do to get there, but that's the goal, right? So if you have a goal to retire, you should probably know how much you need to save each month, each year, right? If you want to buy a house, you need to know how much you need to set aside. Like if you set a date, like I'm going to buy a house next year, you kind of need to know how much you need to put away for a down payment each month, right? Each month you need to figure that out. If the long-term goal is to buy a house, short-term is I need to save XYZ amount each month, right? Like that's how we do that. If you want to buy a car, how much are you going to save for it? When do you need to buy it by? Listen to last week's episode. If you don't know about sinking funds can help with some of these goals as you're setting them, especially financial goals. But this is kind of like a starting point. You've got to set your goals. So I have a couple up on the screen here. For those that are watching, if you're listening on a podcast, pretty much it's just some ideas behind some short-term financial goals, like maybe track your spending, which just means budgeting. Put together that balance sheet, which is just budgeting, pay off credit card debt, build your emergency fund. You see how these are going there. Get max employer match on your retirement plan. That's a good goal. Short-term, right? Start working out your estate plan, examine your student loan repayment strategy. Like all of these are like little goals you can set. But the big goal here is to give you a destination, give you somewhere to head, let you know where you're heading to, right? Because if you know where you're headed, you can start to realize when you're off track. Like if my goal was to drive to California and I'm coming from Florida and I'm driving to California and I end up in New York, I'm like, I am headed the totally wrong way, right? Finances are the exact same. If my goal was to save, XYZ amount and we're 6 months in, I can be like, I'm really not going to buy that car, am I? Because I'm not headed in the right direction, right? Wrong direction. So set your goals, start building a little shorter goals that are building to achieve that. But you got to have goals first. And a little 4.5 is check your net worth, right? Check your net worth. I believe you should look at it every year, see it improving. That sort of drives your goals. So if you want to see your net worth, if you want to see that moving in a positive direction, build goals that are helping achieve that, right? So that could be, like I said, getting that employer match from your retirement plan, from your 401k or whatever. But all in all, a little 4.5 is check your net worth, watch it grow. Every single year, watch it grow. Build goals that are going to help grow your net worth because that's going to set you up for retirement. That's going to set you up long-term financially. But that's where I talk about we want to get our net worth as positive as possible, as in the green as much as possible. But that's kind of the goal there. That's kind of a little nugget. But calculate your net worth. Very simply put, it's just all your assets minus your debts. So assets are things like retirement accounts, bank accounts, that's checking and saving, home values, investment accounts, vehicle values, things like that. Those are all like assets, right? You have to monitor the vehicle values because those do depreciate, right? Like they go down in value most of the time, except for 4Runners in Hawaii. Shout out to the Hawaii folks with 4Runners that for some reason those continue to raise in value. Long story, go ask your Hawaii friends. But debts are things like home loans, car loans, credit card debt, personal loan debt, things like that, student loan debt, all of those things are debts. So just take all of that first category and minus all of the second category, and that is your net worth. Okay. That is your net worth. You can see how if you have a lot of debt, your net worth is potentially below zero, right? Like that's possible. So Back to step number three. The third thing was get your debt under control. That's why we got to get a positive net worth. Now, number 5 is very simply put, start getting ready for tax season. It's the one time of the year where you can really start to get a little stressed out. Maybe you owe the IRS money. Maybe you had a lot of life events happen and it's stressful. If you want, you like it's like having, like, something's about to happen and you still don't prepare for it, right? It's like you're driving down the interstate and your gas gauge is like going from like F to E. And now you're almost on E and you're like, man, I'm out of gas almost, right? Like I'm almost out of gas and I know it's about to happen. Like I know I'm about to run out of gas, but I don't like pull over. I'm like, I pass a gas station. I'm like, yep, pass that gas station. Yep, pass that gas station. Like I know I'm going to run out of gas. I'm going to have to walk. I'm going to have to, push my car. I'm going to have to put my thumb up on the side of the road. I don't know, but I'm going to have to do something, right? So, but I keep going. I just keep driving. Like I know what's about to happen. I know the inevitable. I'm going to run out of gas, but I keep going and I keep going. And then I run out of gas. And then I'm like totally stressed out now because I'm out of gas. But I saw it 50 miles ago that I was running out of gas and I've passed 15 gas stations since then. Whether you picked up that analogy or not, all I'm saying is like you see the destination, like you see that tax season is here. Like it's almost April, right? Like we're coming up very fast. Like before you know it, April's going to be here. Tax season's going to be here and you see it coming and that gas gauge is still going to E. You keep driving. Like you see, we're in January, April's coming up, the year's over. I can start preparing myself for April, right? I can start getting some of these things together to make it less stressful in April, right? February is going to roll around. You're going to start getting W-2s, all of these like tax forms will start coming in and your gas is still going down to E. You see what we're doing here? You're still driving. And then April shows up and you're like, man, I'm out of gas. Now I'm stressed. Now I'm walking. Now my thumbs up. Now people are just driving by laughing at me because I'm out of gas on the side of the interstate. Like, I don't know. But I don't know if it's a great analogy or not. It was just one I just came up with on the spot. But all I'm saying is get ready for it. Get ready for tax season. It's going to be here before you know it. On the screen, there's a couple things you can do. You can Google tax prep checklist. I don't know, there's plenty of things out there, but just start getting things together and pull that information from last tax season. And April's going to get here before you know it, but start getting things like date of birth, social security numbers of all family members. Take note of all the income you had this year. And that could be W-2 employees, self-employed, investment income, rental income, retirement income, whatever. Start looking up and finding receipts and stuff from all the charitable donations, all the medical expenses, all the childcare expense, all the education expense, any other deductions that you have. Start looking at those things because that will make this tax year that less stressful. So if you want to start your year off right, if you want to start 2023 off right, that's number 5. That's the 5th thing that I would do, right? So just to recap, number 1, go revisit your budget. If you don't have one, make one. Number 2, check your emergency fund. If you don't have it, go make one. Those 2 are the foundation. Budget and emergency fund are the foundation of all your finances moving forward. Number 3 is you got to get your debt under control. This is the year for you to get out of debt. Number 4, set your financial goals. If you don't have any, set them. Long-term goals and start building some short terms to get to the long term. And number 5, start preparing for this year's tax season in April, right? Start preparing for it. The new year is commonly a time where people want to change something. They want to change something in their lives, right? And I want to challenge you to really buy into the change. Don't let it just be because of a new year, right? Like I feel like New Year resolutions don't work because we wait. Like it's like we're changing because of the day. We're not changing because we want to. If that makes sense. Because if we really wanted to change, right? Like if I really wanted to eat healthy and I was like on December the 20th, I made my resolution, or maybe Christmas Day on the 25th, I made my resolution. I'm going to eat healthy. Why? If I really wanted to eat healthy, why would I wait another week pretty much to start eating healthy? Like, why not just start eating healthy that day? Like, what I'm saying is like, you didn't really buy into the change. You're trying to change because of a day of the year. There is no like buy-in to that. So what I want to challenge you with is to really and truthfully buy into this change, buy into being better financially this year, right? Because everyone jokes about it, New Year, bandwagon, studies showed, gym memberships explode. Actually, I looked it up. 12% of gym memberships get started in January. Most of them don't last. I want this year to be different. I want you to change because you want it to be a long lasting change. Brad Paisley said, you can see on the screen, but tomorrow, meaning today, technically, is the first blank page of a 365 page book. Write a good one, right? So today, January 1st, is the first blank page of this year's book, right? Write every single page so that at the end of this year, when you read that book, you are better than you were today. That you are better than you were last year. Make this year better than last and make next year better than this, right? So now, one more thing as I finish this up and wrap this up. If you want to take control of your finances, if you want to really and truthfully get off to a great start, head over to thefinancialmirror.org, hit book now. I told you during the debt piece, no matter what your financial goals are, hit the book now, get a free consultation. We can talk about what your financial goals are and I can help you build a plan to get there. Just extra support, extra motivation, extra conversation, bounce ideas, and make sure that you are set up for success moving forward. If you do want to give a little extra dose of support to the stream, head over to thefinancialmirror.org/shop, pick you up some awesome Financial Mirror gear. That is a great place to support the stream and continue to help us grow. Thank you so much for all those that have tuned in all last year. Thank you so much for all of those that continue to tune in. And I appreciate it. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe, hit the like. If you're on podcasts, 5-star reviews, written comments, share with all of your coworkers. Podcast is the easiest to share. People can listen to it on the go. People can listen to it at work. People can listen to it in the car. People can listen to it when they clean the house. People can just listen to it. So podcast is a great way to share this information and get it out there. Till next week, continue improving the one thing you can control, yourself. Have a great year. Peace.
Well, that wraps up today's Financial Mirror. Join us next week as we continue to work on ourselves, change our mentality, and to commit to achieving the success we always envisioned. Regardless of your platform, help us grow as a community. Please like, subscribe, and share with the people in your lives.